grade 11s, grade 12s, it is very critical, it's very important for you to know what to do when dealing with trigonometric functions when there is a period change. The period change is brought by the parameter b. So what do you do when there is this parameter here? You will need to calculate the new period. So for the graph of sine and the graph of cosine, you divide 360 by b, and for the function involving tan, you divide 180 by b. And if you are going to use the calculator to give you the points, then you find the step by dividing the period by 4. So you apply it throughout. Now, I hope you are also able to put the function in the calculator to get the tables, to get a table of values. So we are going to move straight to an example. We will take A. We are given that y is equal to sine 4x. So the first question is sketch the graph, and then number 2, write down the period of the function. So what we are going to do, we can answer this second question, finding the period, because we will need it to help us to get the critical points. So we are saying period. Since it's the graph of sine, we know the basic graph is having a period of 360 degrees. So it's 360 degrees divided by 4. That is our b, and this gives us 90 degrees. And then we need a step. So the step, we said we divide the period by 4, and this gives us 22.5 degrees. So that's what we need. Now we go to the calculator, we put in the function, and also let's not forget that the domain is from -90 to 90 degrees inclusive, and our step is 22.5, so that we get the critical points there. So the graph that we should come up with will be the one that I'm going to put here. Just to change the domain. And also the step. Okay. All right, and then our graph is sine 4x, which will be, so the calculator will give you these critical points that you will simply plot and follow, and you will be done with sketching the graph, just as easy as this. Let's take another question. Maybe we can look at the graph of tan, because the graph of sine and cosine, they behave almost the same. So let's look at C. Now see, we are given y being equal to tan 1/3x, and our domain is from 0 to 1080 degrees. So basically we need to calculate the period, which we are saying, since the graph of tan is 180 degrees divided by 1/3, and this gives us 540 degrees. That is 180 degrees times 3. Then we will need the step, which will be 540 degrees divided by 4. And that will give us 135 degrees. And then you put everything in the calculator to get those critical points. So what we will have eventually we started from 0, and our maximum is 1080. So our step is changed now. It's 135. So our graph is tan 1/3 that will be our graph. So the calculator will give you this point, and then we'll give you error at 270. So that means you are having your line of asymptote, and then it will also give you this way to cut the x-axis and this point, so that you can have the shape of the graph. And then here at 810, that will be error, and then you will have these two critical points so that you can draw your graph. So that is how easily you can draw this graph. Now let's dig a little bit deeper by involving other parameters. Let's take D. Now D, it's y is equal to cos 2x plus 1. So what we see here is that we have period change and we have vertical shift, a shift upward of 1 unit. So we will start with the graph y is equal to cos 2x. So for this graph, we need to calculate the period because there is a period change there. So we'll get 360 degrees divided by 2, which will give us 180. And then the step that we'll need, that will be 180 degrees divided by 4. And that will give us 45 degrees. So we will start by drawing the graph of y is equal to cos 2x. So we'll get the critical values from the calculator, we'll plot them. our is from negative 360, our domain is from negative 360 to 0. And we have said our step is 45 degrees. Alright, just to remove this graph, and then we'll put the one that we are looking at, which is cos 2x. So this is our graph for cos 2x, that is from negative 360 to 0. And then now what is happening here is now to effect the vertical shift. So vertical shift means that we are just going to move every critical point 1 unit up. That means this one will come here, this will be here, this will be here, this one will go there, this will be 1 unit up, this one will be here, this will come to the x-axis, this one will come here, and then this will be here. That would mean we can now draw our graph following the same way it is going. So that's how easy you can draw this graph, rather than having a confusion of whether you are doing it correctly or wrongly. It is very important just to understand the transformation of graphs and know where to start so that things will be easy. I hope this brings some light as far as drawing a graph where there is a period change is concerned.